All right, everybody, welcome back for another deep dive. You ready to get into it?
Always.
Okay, cool. So today, we are talking about Elon Musk, and it's actually something I find particularly juicy.
Juicy is a good word for it.
It is, right?
Yeah.
So basically, we've got this Washington Post article, and we also have a speech by President Biden.
Oh, this is good.
This can be good.
Yeah.
So basically, the Washington Post article is saying that Elon Musk, who we all know, is a pretty big supporter of stricter immigration policies.
Yeah.
Might have worked illegally in the U.S. himself back in the 90s.
Oh.
So I know, right? Pretty crazy. Apparently, he was here on a student visa, but may have been doing some things that were, let's just say, a little bit outside the lines of what he was supposed to be doing.
Okay, so to really get what that means, what's the big deal you kind of have to know about these visas, right?
Yeah, for sure.
What are the rules? What are the different types?
Exactly.
So Musk was allegedly using a J-1 visa, which is meant for cultural and educational exchange programs, and then later an H-1B visa, which is specifically for temporary employment, but in a specialized field.
Gotcha.
And both of these visas, they have really strict requirements about what type of work you can do.
Right.
And if you overstep those boundaries it can lead to some pretty serious consequences.
Yeah, I imagine.
Yeah.
So it's not like the Washington Post just threw this out there, right?
Right.
They actually talked to people.
They did their homework?
They did. They talked to former associates and investors who knew Musk back then.
Interesting.
And these people, they backed up the concerns about his visa status.
See, this is what makes it juicy. This is the oh snap moment.
Right.
This is a personal connection.
Yeah, this is where it's okay, this is actually a big deal.
And it really makes you think about the risks that companies take when they hire someone who might be working here illegally.
Oh, yeah, totally.
It's not just about the individual, right? There can be legal and financial consequences for the business as well.
For sure, for sure. Okay, so then we have President Biden entering the chat.
Oh, good.
So he actually referenced this whole situation in a recent speech.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and basically called out the irony of Musk supporting a candidate with a really hardline stance on immigration.
Oh, this is fascinating. It's all about the context, right?
Totally.
We're talking about an election here.
Yeah.
And the candidates, they have very different views on immigration.
They do.
And the candidate that Musk is backing has been very vocal about wanting stricter controls and more enforcement.
Yeah, and, Musk himself has made comments about things like illegal voter importation.
Which, okay, so that kind of echoes the rhetoric of the candidate he supports.
It does. It's almost word for word sometimes.
It's wild how these things line up.
It is. It's this contrast between his alleged past and his current political leanings that's making this whole thing blow up.
Yeah, it makes you think, doesn't it?
For sure. On the one hand, you have these allegations about his own issues with immigration.
Right.
And then on the other hand, you have him very publicly supporting policies that would make it harder for other people to come to the U.S.
Exactly. It's complicated.
Yeah. So the question is, does knowing this information change how you view Elon Musk's stance on immigration?
That's the deep dive question right there.
Right. I mean, it's a really interesting example of how things that happened in the past, even decades ago, can still be relevant to what's happening in politics today.
Yeah, definitely food for thought.
So much food for thought.
Oh.
All right, well, that wraps up our deep dive for today. Remember to subscribe, and let us know what you think in the comments. We love hearing from you, and we'll catch you next time.
See ya.